Christian, and today I'm looking at Hebrews chapter 10, starting at verse 23. Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. I teach aerial fabrics, so that tends to be a pretty hardcore workout. And in general, when I get ready to teach like a new trick or introduce a new workout, put something new that might be hard, 99.9% of the time, the first thing the person does is go, and I find myself daily saying at least one time during class, open your mouth and breathe. Because what happens is when they hit something that's hard, something that's pressing, something that's stressful, the only thing that you actually need to do, which is breathe, is the first thing that goes away. And I think that happens a lot in our own lives when you find yourself in a situation where Satan's starting to talk to you, you might start feeling lonely. The first thing you do is stop going to church, or stop hanging out with friends, or stop answering phone calls. Or you find yourself in a situation where, your finances might be a struggle, and then the first thing we do is go buy something. The one thing that you actually need to keep doing is the first thing that usually goes away. Now, I'm going to say this is probably not new, considering they had to address it at this point in the Bible. And he starts in verse 23 and says, let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who has promised is faithful. Remembering the first thing you need to go to when life gets a little struggle, or it's pressing, or life is just not playing fair, is to remember that he who promised is faithful. Not going to the phone to find a friend, not trying to figure it out or look and see what the precedence is so you can figure this out for the next time. First thing, go to God. He who promised is faithful. Then in verse 24 it says, and let us consider how to stir up one another to love and good works. If you find yourself where you're in a situation of unclarity, like you're not really sure what your calling is, you don't really know where to go, I might suggest grabbing a hold of somebody else's dream, speaking into somebody else's life, mentoring them. If you don't feel like you know where you're going, start feeding into someone else. I've never seen it fail that it points you in the direction that God wants you to go. Then in verse 25 it says, not neglecting to meet together is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near. Don't go away from the people who point you to God. That's the time that you got to find your small group, connect into serving on a team, be inside of a church. When things are rough, go to God. Go where God is, and go to people who talk about who God is. Just a constant reminder in who you're hanging out with and where you're going and what you're doing, that he who promised is faithful. Love you.